Anuai no me ke aloha. Welcome. Welcome one and all. Aloha mai. Aloha mai. Come and join us for the Olohana Foundation's half-hour community hour. The Olohana Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization committed to giving voice to recognizing community capacity, revitalization, and regeneration. We are committed to community input, to collaboration, and inclusion in the processes that govern, create, and codify community desires, expectations, and needs. Now, all need to be heard. Everyone leads, and everyone follows. Which leads me to this episode, where we follow Uncle Hank Fergestrom, the spokesperson for Na Kupuna Moku o Keawe. We want to remind all of you to join us for our next workshop on food security, food safety, and homegrown food forests. As always, for information, go to hawaiihomegrown.org. Again, hawaiihomegrown.org, and register for the next Victory Gardens workshop. Virtually interconnected community tree gardens. Food in place, shelter in place with your Victory Garden. Now, sit back, relax, and enjoy Uncle Hank, U.S. Public Law 103-150 on the Olohana Foundation's half-hour community hour.
Ao he pau ike, I ka halau ho'okahi.
November 23rd, 1993. To acknowledge the 100th anniversary of the January 17, 1893 overthrow of the Kingdom of Hawaii. And to offer an apology to Native Hawaiians on behalf of the United States for the overthrow of the Kingdom of Hawaii. Whereas, prior to the arrival of the first Europeans in 1778, the Native Hawaiian people lived in a highly organized, self-sufficient, subsistent social system based on communal land tenure with a sophisticated language, culture, and religion.
So I want to tell you something strange. I was really into the presidential election, and I'm talking about the presidential election, the one between Nixon and Kennedy. That's not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And there I was, man. It was like a rocket. It just shot me off.
Jimo's gone away from here on a midnight flight. He's got to go to get a job. Alright. Some they come, but most they go. You just can't help the rest. 'Cause when you live in paradise, they put you to the test now. Say aloha, goodbye, my friend. Live aloha till we meet.
I guess I was like Martin Luther King in a sense, okay? I have a dream. Yes, we can. We can all, you know.
Another one is rising up. Step into the light. The ascending sun will pull you in. It shine, shine so bright. But when those clouds get in the way, you know that they will go. 'Cause when you live in paradise, it's all part of the show now. Say aloha, goodbye, my friend. Live aloha till we meet again.
Do you think this is part of the United States of America, or is this Hawaii?
Oh, this is part of the U.S., of course.
This is the United States.
I mean, is this Hawaii or is this United States?
Hawaii, of course. This is the Hawaiian Kingdom.
The answer is I think it's both. It's got its own unique culture and history, but it's also part of something much bigger that has also additional culture and history to come together as one. So I see it as both.
It's both.
Well, technically, the ground that we're standing on is not the United States
That's true.
territory.
That's true. This is royal territory, right?
Which island?
All of them.
All of them. Well, I've been to Oahu, I've been to Molokai, and I've been to the Big Island, Hawaii. And first time I went to Hawaii as a nation was to Oahu. And I thought Honolulu was dirty, and I wasn't expecting it to be as crowded as it was, and it smelled horrible. And the buildings were so tall and crowded, and the weirdest thing for me was when I was there, I felt like there was just like a constant vibration, like it was moving, kind of weird.
So it's 1949, and I am born into a broken family. Not only am I born into a broken family, but my father remarries, has a whole nother family. I'm not necessarily welcomed. And so my mother, she marries into the United States Marines. Not once, but twice.
So crazy,
A little bit taboo.
so lazy,
You got to pay those dues.
some superstitions.
Will they still hold true?
See me, I've got a minority view.
So now it's 1965, and I am so frustrated. I'm so tired of being tossed between the two that I decide that I need to get out of Hawaii, period. So what do? I hijack a plane.
Just be foolish,
Or just plain mean?
attention deficit disorder,
Living in a dream.
unresponsive,
Unambitious.
unenlightened it seems,
Taking minor chances.
plotting minor schemes. Every now and then the road gets long.
Oh yeah, and when your judgments lead you wrong.
Perfect place to start. What an easy thing to do. Have a change of heart, change your point of view.
So it's 1966. I just made my first parole. And now the Army is taking anybody they can. They're taking gum off the sidewalks to send them to Vietnam for the war. So I go down and voluntarily try to join the Army, Navy, and Marines. But they will have nothing to do with me because I hijacked the plane. All during that time too, what's happening is the civil rights movement. Now, I didn't know a whole lot about the civil rights movement when it first started, but as it started to progress, when the marches really started from Montgomery and stuff, where Dr. Martin Luther King said some of the most beautiful words I've ever heard, and that's, I have a dream. I have a dream.
Why should we all go on feeling desperately alone? We're all in this world together. It's all love. It's all love. Come on home.
It's not 1976 and the Hawaiian Renaissance is starting to take off. I need to get back to Hawaii.
Well, lawyers buy maybe.
Politicians sell good.
Soldiers never say never.
Though they should bless those who need help
And those who would
be perfect,
the best for the highest good.
and every now and then the road disappears.
We've got to keep the faith.
They'll face our fears, be the perfect place to start. Such an easy thing to do. Have a change of heart, change of point of view. Peace in our hearts, love can see us through. Come be a part of a minority view.
One thing that became apparent by learning all about this anti-war civil rights type movement is that this is what Hawaii was suffering from. And the question is, why didn't we know it? Why were we not raised to understand that what we were dealing with was oppression and suppression?
Whereas, in pursuance of the conspiracy to overthrow the government of Hawaii, the United States minister and the naval representatives of the United States caused armed naval forces of the United States to invade the sovereign Hawaiian nation on January 16, 1893, and to position themselves near the Hawaiian government buildings and the Iolani Palace to intimidate Queen Liliuokalani and her government.
I, Liliuokalani, by the grace of God and under the Constitution of the Hawaiian Kingdom, Queen, do hereby solemnly protest against any and all acts done against myself and the constitutional government of the Hawaiian Kingdom by certain persons claiming to have established a provisional government of and for this kingdom, that I yield to the superior force of the United States of America, whose Minister Plenipotentiary, His Excellency John L. Stevens, has caused United States troops to be landed at Honolulu and declared that he would support the provisional government. Now, to avoid any collision of armed forces, and perhaps the loss of life, I do this under protest, and impelled by said force, yield my authority until such time as the government of the United States shall, upon facts being presented to it, undo the action of its representatives and reinstate me in the authority which I claim as the constitutional sovereign of the Hawaiian Islands.
Because of the involvement of the United States military, it made it internationally illegal. That is why the United States has absolutely no authority to assert its jurisdiction in the Hawaiian Kingdom.
Section 1. Acknowledgement and Apology. The Congress, 1. On the occasion of the 100th anniversary of the illegal overthrow of the Kingdom of Hawaii on January 17, 1893, acknowledges the historical significance of this event, which resulted in the suppression of the inherent sovereignty of the native Hawaiian people.
What you really have to understand, this is not a spectator sport. Okay, it's all about participation. That's how we build families.
2. Recognizes and commends efforts of reconciliation initiated by the state of Hawaii and the United Church of Christ with Native Hawaiians.
We believe that people, once they know the truth, will know what to do. And what needs to be done is this wound needs to be healed, and we need to take it back to where it started from, and let's start patching it up, because we have people from all over the world here. We got children of all mixed bloods, and they all belong here.
3. apologizes to Native Hawaiians on behalf of the people of the United States for the overthrow of the Kingdom of Hawaii on January 17th, 1893.
It's incumbent upon all of us to look at this. We're going to go through a transition no matter how we look at it. The transition is happening now. Now the question is it's like we started off before. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And now we understand that country is the Hawaiian Kingdom.
With the participation of agents and citizens of the United States and the deprivation of the rights of Native Hawaiians to self-determination.
In October of last year, the Hawaii Supreme Court affirmed the issuance of the Conservation District Use Permit for the 30-meter telescope on Mauna Kea. We are all stewards of Mauna Kea. The state has an obligation to respect and honor the unique cultural and natural resources on this special mountain.
The state, which is illegal in the first place, has it just breaches all kinds of things, especially in the religious side of things. They don't have any respect for the mountain, even though the mountain is a conservation zone. The entire mountain is a conservation zone.
Yesterday afternoon, DLNR issued the notice to proceed for the TMT civil construction package to commence grading and site prep on the TMT site. This step implements the TMT Conservation District Use Permit approved by the Board of Land and Natural Resources in September 2017 and upheld by the Hawaii Supreme Court in October 2018.
It's kind of ridiculous that we play this law game if we're not going to abide by it, especially when those who is claiming to be the law doesn't abide by their own law.
4. Expresses its commitment to acknowledge the ramifications of the overthrow of the Kingdom of Hawaii in order to provide a proper foundation for reconciliation between the United States and the Native Hawaiian people.
Good morning and aloha. The Hawaii Supreme Court opinion that both the governor and Chair Case referenced followed a 4-year legal process in which many voices were heard and numerous parties participated. In affirming the decision of the Board of Land and Natural Resources to issue a permit for the construction of the last telescope footprint on Mauna Kea, the court carefully examined the board's review of Mauna Kea from a cultural, a traditional, a historical, an environmental, and a scientific standpoint.
What's really important to understand, and I don't know how this gets lost, but people forget that is the most sacred spot in Hawaii. It is a temple. The entire mountain is a temple, especially 10,000 feet and above. The whole mountain has been covered with telescopes. Yes, there's a lot of damage, but there is one pristine area left, which is the northern plateau, and that's where they want to put the 30-meter telescope. And that's what this battle is all about. We need to have a place where we Hawaiians can continue to practice our religions, so we can transmit it down to our younger generations. Now understand, we're not against science. We're all for science. We're all about science. It's location.
This notice to proceed is an important milestone in what has been a decade-long open and consultative process through which every requirement in statute, policy, and procedure has been met.
It's also a historic district, and it's a little different than a historic site. Historic district is when you have multiple historic sites in one area, and that's the summit of Mauna Kea.
The 30-meter telescope represents a pinnacle of innovation and human imagination.
They've already got a 40-meter telescope being built in Chile, I believe it is. That's already going to surpass the ability of this, and so that's why it's important to understand what is it that they're really doing.
5. Urges the President of the United States to also acknowledge the ramifications of the overthrow of the Kingdom of Hawaii and to support reconciliation efforts between the United States and the Native Hawaiian people.
To those of you from outside Hawaii or even outside Hawaii Island who take a position on this project, please respect our process. The world is not black and white. This is not an oil pipeline. It is a telescope.
They are so worried about what's going on and what the public perception is of this 30-meter telescope problem that's about ready to hammer us, that he had to come out and try to smooth this road out by saying, we're not talking about a pipeline here, like the Exxon pipeline and Standing Rock and all that. We're talking about a telescope. In other words, to try to make it minimized in comparison. And that to me tells me they're definitely afraid.
The more the seasons change, the more they'll stay the same. I can still see their faces, but I can't recall their names now. There's so much that we have to share, ain't no need to fight. Tutu said no scared, just get. That's right. It's not what they take away, it's what we leave behind. Cause when you live in paradise, it's still so hard to say goodbye. Share aloha, goodbye, my friend. Live aloha till we meet again. Share aloha, goodbye, my friend. Live aloha till we meet again. Yeah.
So just imagine, we've got this big, beautiful car that we just recently got. It's the absolute pride of our family. And one morning we wake up and the car's been taken. It's been stolen. And then we find out that it's been stolen by a very close friend of ours, And so later we approach our friends and they readily, just openly admit that yes, it was them who stole our car. And while they felt sorry about it, they even offered an apology. What they made very, very clear is they had absolutely no intentions of returning that car to us.
Section 3. Disclaimer. Nothing in this joint resolution is intended to serve as a settlement of any claims against the United States.
Now, tell me, is that just or fair in any legal system that you know of?
Well, you know, growing up, I just never even questioned that it was Hawaii. It was always the 50th state, there's 50 stars on the flag, Hawaii 5-0, Magnum PI. You know, it's just obvious, and I never really even thought about it. But, you know, living here for a while and getting to know the details of how the overthrow happened, I think it's perfectly valid to question whether or not Hawaii is legitimately a part of the United States, or if it's part of a, you know, leftover empire that most Americans don't even know they have.
Hawaii, illegally occupied by the United States.
It's Hawaii, man. Hapu aloha.
Obviously, this is not the United States. This is Hawaii. It's time for those of us not from here to learn the truth, recognize our privilege, educate others, and support the Hawaiians. We may not be able to fix this, but we can heal it. It begins with all of us, and it begins with Mauna Kea.
This is ko Hawaii Paina, Hawaii, the Hawaiian Kingdom. Aloha mai kako, kauko Kalani wahilani no poia mai au. Noho wau make ala nui kumai po. Kou papa o hana wahilani kalekini kalama no laila me kou mama makua hine o hana aana ka eo kawewehi. I'm Kauko Wahilani. I reside in the Hawaiian Kingdom in the Iliaina Pu'ea, Waianae Valley. And yes, this is the Hawaiian Kingdom.
Hawaii.
Hawaii, I would say.
Yeah.
Which is part of the United States.
Well, we were just saying as we were walking up, we were like, but is this Hawaii or is this America? And isn't this meant to be the 50th something state of America? And we were confused, really, as to what that is. Yeah.
What was the confusion?
Well, because we know it belongs to America.
But yeah, well, are you independent of America?
Of America, that's what we were. Yeah.
Are you or are you not? And why is the Union Jack on the flag?
So many questions.
Yeah.
I know you think I'm kind of crazy because I've made some very strong statements. But look, if you think I am, you can Google it under United States Public Law 103-150. And that'll show you everything that the United States has already admitted that it did to help the illegal overthrow of Hawaii, which is why Hawaii is not a state.
Kimo's gone away from here on a midnight flight. He's got to go to get a job. Alright. Some they come, but most they go. You just can't help the rest. 'Cause when you live in paradise, they put you to the test now. Say aloha, goodbye, my friend. Live aloha till we meet again, yeah. Another one is rising up, step into the light. The sending sun will pull you in, it shine, shine so bright. But when those clouds get in the way, you know that they will go. 'Cause when you live in paradise, it's all part of the show now. Say aloha, goodbye, my friend. Live aloha till we meet again. That we have to share, ain't no need to fight. Tutu said no scared, just get. That's right. It's not what they take away, it's what we leave behind. 'Cause when you live in paradise, it's still so hard to say goodbye. Share aloha, goodbye, my friend. Live aloha till we meet again. Share aloha, goodbye, my friend. Live aloha till we meet again.
This program has been paid for by the Olohana Foundation.